Mark Wilson, welcome back to Noise 11. Good to see you again.
Thanks for having me.
We've got a few things to talk about. ARC, which is the supergroup. Do you refer to ARC as a supergroup? Davey Lane, Darren Middleton, Kram. You've got Spiderbait, Powderfinger, UMI, Jet. It does fit the definition of supergroup.
Look, we can say that, I guess. I mean, yeah, why not?
But really, it's four mates just getting together and playing some great music.
I mean, ultimately, that's the crux of it, and I mean that's the crux of most bands at the start. But you know, it's four great friends who decided to do something for a bit of a laugh, and it actually turned out 10 years later we're still doing it, and it's become like a serious part of our musical careers, I guess. Like it's an important tour that we love doing, and we really enjoy the process, and we really enjoy the show that we put on every year, and love that it's a different thing we do every year as well.
I love seeing how you perform the albums and actually achieve the sounds, which is something quite remarkable. And I'm very interested to see how the Pink Floyd shows work with Dark Side of the Moon and Wish You Were Here, because there's so many sounds on both of those albums. 1967, we had the Sgt. Pepper album, The Beatles, which virtually at that point took the Beatles out of the touring circuit at that time. They didn't tour from Revolver, Sgt. Pepper onwards because it was too hard to perform those records on stage. But then Pink Floyd come along, Dark Side of the Moon, 1973, and they were performing this entire album. What changed?
Yes.
What changed on stage, backstage, in the technical world of putting on a live performance between Sgt. Pepper and Dark Side of the Moon that made Dark Side of the Moon an album capable of being performed live?
Well, I mean, you listen to Dark Side of the Moon, it's actually, I mean, well, it sounds complex. When you start breaking it down, there's actually not a lot of stuff on it, whereas Sgt. Pepper is jam-packed full of stuff. You know, there's orchestras and, you know, endless amount of backing. But you listen to Dark Side of the Moon and you can hear it's four people in a room kind of thing playing. You know, there is extra things, but it's all, you know, we can achieve it pretty much by adding. We had three extra members to the group, so we have to add extra members for the tour because we need all those hands on deck to make all the sounds. But you know, we do everything live. We don't play. There's no tracks. There's no like things that we've pre-recorded. We you know, I mean, aside from the things that need to be like, you know, the sound of the Casher, just as you know, like that's such an iconic thing. And that when they used to do that live, they would play that, and then, but you know, like all of the synths and stuff, we've got a lot of keyboards up on stage to cover that. I've got a keyboard station. Darren has one, as does Jimmy, our keyboard player. He'll have one as well. So like, there's a lot of work. There's a lot. It'll be a very busy show. You know, there won't be a spare moment. If I'm not playing bass, I'll be playing keyboards kind of thing. And if Darren's not playing guitar or singing, he'll be playing keyboards.
And then we get to the Wish You Were Here album. Now that came, I think it was about 2.5 years after Dark Side of the Moon.
So that's actually the 50th anniversary this year for that record.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. September 1975. So yeah, you're correct. So when you're performing these in August 2025, it'll be all around the same time.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I mean, last year we did Led Zeppelin 4, and that was the first time we didn't do a 50th anniversary show because we wanted to move away from that because, you know, you kind of limit what you have, you know, you limit what you got access to. We did 50th anniversary of Abbey Road. We did 50th anniversary of Let It Be, Neil Young Harvest. And so we didn't want to just pigeonhole ourselves having to do 50th anniversary things. So last year we did Led Zeppelin 4, which was obviously a completely different, whole different kettle of fish than Pink Floyd. It was probably one of the most challenging things we've ever done because of, everyone in that band's a virtuoso. But again, this is going to be very challenging, I think. They're all hard in their own ways, but we love it, and we love getting forensic on it, using the same equipment they used where we can. And for the nerds out there, like now you can get emulators in a digital desk, so we can use the same sort of a software that sort of emulates the sound of the desk in Abbey Road where they recorded the records. So you can actually you have the actual desk up on the screen. The sound guy out the front has that image of that desk, so he can run it exactly the same as they would have run it. So we can try and get as close as possible to that, that tone, so that when you're listening to it, you feel like you're hearing it like a recital, almost like it's like you would go see classical music and hear, what was written, played the same. That's how what we try to achieve as close as we can.
The two albums were very different, and in keeping with the times, Led Zeppelin were the same, weren't they? They went in, from number 1 to number 2 was different, 2 to 3 was different, 3 to 4 was different, 4 to Houses of the Holy was different, Houses of the Holy, Physical Graffiti were different, and Pink Floyd did the same thing as well. Is there a completely different setup that you have to have as a band to go from performing Dark Side to Wish You Were Here?
They're different, very different, but at the same time, you listen to the elements, and they've got a lot of the same elements. There's saxophone on both. There's the same synthesizers they use on both. There's bass, drums, guitars. There's, like we're a few years later, so there's probably a few little slight changes, but we're lucky that we don't have to drag around all those vintage keyboards to get those sounds. We can actually get those sounds from. We can get those sounds from, patches you can load into digital keyboards. So we don't have to, have all hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of vintage gear to achieve it, luckily. But, we'll go. And the other good thing is with Pink Floyd, there's so many Pink Floyd fans out there. There's so much like information out there you can research and find out what pedal boards they use, what pedals they had, how they did this sound and how they did that sound. And we do that, and we get right into it and get forensic on every little detail together.
You're the bass player in the band. Roger Waters was the bass player in the band. Does that give you the license to be the arsehole in the band?
Yes, of course. Probably one of the rare arsehole bass players out there too. Most of the time the bass player is the good guy.
Well, you can walk out of ARC. You can then sue them for using the name, and then you really do emulate Pink Floyd.
Yeah, exactly. No, I won't be doing that. No, I'll just play the parts.
Now, not only do you have the ARC shows, there's also the Jet shows on the Lookout Festival coming up. Last time we spoke, Hurry Up was a brand new song that was already in the set list. Are there more new songs at this point that you're
there is.
about to add in?
There's new songs. There's new songs that are probably not. They're nearly finished. We've got a big backlog of songs we're finishing, and we just need to complete, properly, and get them organized for release, really. But we're just still working away. We have a lot of stuff we're working on at the moment. So, every day we're sending each other stuff we're working on. So it's been good.
Yeah. So fourth Jet album this year.
We're working on that. Hopefully this year. Yeah.
At least the Lookout Festival gives you and Kram the chance to be on the same lineup together.
Yeah, which is always fun.
Yeah, so you've got Jet, Grinspoon, Veronicas, Spiderbait, Jebediah, and Magic Dirt. Any plans for jumping up with other bands and, seeing as you're all friends?
I reckon that's probably something that's more likely to happen as the tour rolls on, and we all haven't seen each other in quite a while. So, we're all friends. This is going to be a good fun tour. The Magic, I grew up in Geelong, and the Magic Dirt, I used to play with, support them when I was in my, young high school bands. So I've known those guys for a very, very long time. These kind of tours are fun because it's just good catch up with everybody, good laugh, and it's always nice to, see your friends. And like I said, it's like school camp when you do these ones. It's good.
Yeah. And Jet are almost the new kids in the band. I think Veronicas came after you, but Magic Dirt, Jebediah, Spiderbait, and Grinspoon were definitely before Jet.
Yeah. Yeah, Spiderbait, I remember going to see Spiderbait play when I was 15 in Geelong at an all-ages show. It was one of my first ever shows I went to. One of my first all-ages shows I went to Yeah.
The first two albums, I know every single song on both of those albums has been performed live because I've seen them perform live. When you launched the second album down at the Prince of Wales that time, and played both albums back to back. What about the third album? Have you played every song off that album live at some point?
You're testing my knowledge there. I'd say we did. I can't think of anything we wouldn't have played. Yeah, I think we played everything live at least once.
Yeah, so that.
But yeah, I have to go on the internet to find out the answer to that.
Yeah, because I guess when you're doing these festival shows, you've got limited time. You don't have the long set list.
A festival set list, you do write differently to your own show as well, because your own show, people are there purely to see you, whereas at a festival, there's people there to see you, but also you've got fans of the other bands and just general fans of music. So you want to be a bit broader with that, I guess, set list. And also you need to write for the energy of that kind of show. There's not as much time to kind of hone a journey on a festival. I think we're playing 70 minutes, so that's a pretty long set. So, we're actually working. We were in the rehearsal studio yesterday, working up a few surprises as well, songs we haven't played in a while, to stick into the set.
So
and a cover.
Oh, a cover. All right. Okay. Any hints?
Yeah. No.
Well, we're all going to find out in 2 days. As we speak, we're 2 days before the first show. So 2 days from now, we can Google it.
You have to wait 2 days. Yeah.
So for the poor people seeing this after the first show, we'll just have to put it down in the comments. What we'll do the spoiler alert down there. Okay, so Sandstone Point, that starts this Saturday, the 22nd of February, finishing in Mornington on the 23rd of March. And then in the second half of the year, we've got the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here shows with Arc, featuring Davey Lane and Kram and Darren Middleton, as well as Mark Wilson. So you're a busy man, Mark Wilson, this year.
Thank you. I like to be busy.
Good to see you, and good to see you again.
Good to see you, Paul. Thanks.